All right, so we have a really exciting episode today. We have Hxsain on the pod, a prolific YouTuber on the rise, and a
Prolific.
former esports team manager, and an entrepreneur, as well as a student of psychology like myself. Hxsain, take it away. If you can say a few words about what you're up to.
Okay, crazy introduction. So a few things. I am a YouTuber now. I think the main thing that I'm doing now is YouTube. The last time you and I spoke, I just left my previous esports organization and I was just pursuing YouTube at the very, very beginning. I think it was the first week or the last week of November. So a lot has changed since then. The esports team that I was managing at the time, I became the owner of that and I ran that for a few months. My social media marketing agency, it was still running for a little bit, but I put it on the side because I wanted to focus mainly on the esports organization and the YouTube. And student of psychology. I did graduate university, fun fact, for psychology. So now I'm a psychology degree individual. I'm still
Hey,
learning, I'm still reading, I'm still trying to like keep learning as much as I can because it's not done. You graduate, you're not actually done the process of learning. So now I've just been reading, done school, focusing on work, just here in my own zone. So I hope that's a good introduction.
you're still a student of psychology then.
Of course, we'll always be.
There we go.
You and I will always be. There's no limit to it.
That's right. Awesome. And okay, awesome, Hussein. So on this episode, what I really want to be talking about is, how you grew your 300,000 subscribers in under a year, how you grew your TikTok audience to close to 100,000 subscribers, and how you would recommend other founders, other business owners to build out their distribution channels.
Okay. So I think social media now is the #1 outlook to try and expand your business. And I've seen it over and over and over again. So what I used to do is I used to manage other creators. I used to manage their profiles and whatever they would do. And then I was able to achieve multi millions for them. So I thought, you know what, I could probably do that for myself. So I started to post randomly. I didn't even know what I was doing. I had an intention, a goal, and I knew I was going to get it. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I just wanted to go head deep, see where it took me. So how did I do it? Posted consistently every single day from the moment I made my channel till here. So I made my YouTube channel and my TikTok and all that, I think either November 1st or the last day of October, either or. And I've just been posting every single day. So when you do something every single day, no matter what it is, if you do it for a long enough time, you eventually get very, very good at it, depending on what it is, whether it be playing an instrument, whether it be going to the gym, whether it be following a diet, whether it be YouTube, running a business, outreach, no matter what it is. If you do anything for a long enough time, you become good at it. So when you and I first initially spoke, that was at the beginning of my channel. And at the time, I had less than 1,000 followers, but I was talking with the intent of expanding it much, much further. And all these months later, it's been 8 months, 9 months since then, something like that. And now I have, well, thank God, I have 350K subscribers on YouTube and about 100K on TikTok with 300 million across both platforms. So the way how businesses can integrate that, in my personal opinion, and from my experience, is to just post whatever your business is about, because you can make it much, much further in expanding the business and scaling it up when there's more eyes on it. So I would say what people can do is just post about it, figure out how the algorithm works, figure out what people actually visually like to watch and how you can retain them, and make content about your business. There's someone in my city who owns a shawarma joint, and a shawarma, I'm sure it's food. He owns a restaurant, okay? And he just posts what goes on inside the restaurant. So he'll post like how he cooks the food, how him and his employees like get along with one another. He'll make like funny content out of it. And he started doing that about a year ago. And a year later, he's close to 1 billion views with 1.5 million subscribers. And now his business, he opened up a bunch of new locations with the business. So I think social media in itself is a good way to expand yourself. And especially if you do it on a long enough time frame, it'll scale itself up. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's a real life example of like literally a local business that benefited from his TikTok strategies. Did you help like with his TikTok strategies at all? Or?
No, we haven't met yet, but I do plan on going around and just seeing if we can like network a little bit, because we're both from the same city. We've both done similar work, And I think it'd be interesting. So I'm not gonna name drop who it is, but if it ends up succeeding, then you'll see some
Yeah,
stuff
you
soon.
like shawarma. He makes shawarma.
Yeah, he
Sounds like
makes
a good
shawarma.
relationship,
We'll do something cool. Yeah. Yeah.
um, that's awesome, dude. So like, okay, and to get into more detail here, you did have a bit of a Twitter audience before you started your YouTube, right?
Yeah, I did.
How big was
So
your Twitter audience, and how much would you say it contributed to your initial success on YouTube as a result?
0. So
Right.
here's what I'll say. So I had a community on Twitter that was just within the esports side. So I ended up getting my start from the esports niche, and everyone that ended up following my Twitter was from the esports organizations that I was affiliated with. So when I made my YouTube channel, I just pretty much told my Twitter, like, this is what I'm going to be doing. If you'd like to join me, feel free. But this is what my intention is going to be. So I wouldn't say it had much of a contribution, but I will say it had a big impact on how I perceived YouTube. When there's people around you that are winning, when there's people around you who are getting multi millions of views, and these are people who you're like almost close with, people who you talk to on the daily, when you see them doing something like that, it creates a belief in your brain that you're capable of doing that. So I had people who were getting so many subscribers and so many views and actually building a future with social media and just content creation that I thought that I was capable of doing it because I understand myself fairly well. You know, I've spent so much time just psychoanalyzing myself throughout high school, throughout university, and I knew what kind of person I was and what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. So watching what they did and how they made it work, I used my Twitter follow like my friends on Twitter to create a belief for myself. And then I use that. So the actual support I got from Twitter, I don't think it's like I think it's nothing, like close to nothing. I maybe have like 8 to 20 people from my Twitter that actually consistently watch my videos. But my Twitter community actually ended up expanding from the YouTube. So rather than Twitter helping YouTube, YouTube ended up helping Twitter. So
Funny
interesting.
how that works.
Yeah, funny how it goes full cycle.
No, but that's crazy because I spoke to you in November when you have maybe less than 1,000 on your YouTube, and it was as if that when we were speaking, I had no doubt in my mind that you're going to grow your YouTube community to multi-million subscribers.
I
I had
appreciate that.
zero doubt in my mind because I had also worked with other YouTubers with millions of subscribers, and they had a similar belief structure, but it took them maybe a decade to grow their YouTube audiences, while it took you less than a year. And the main differentiator here, in my viewpoint, was that the ones that I had spoken to, they didn't have that network or that community early on. So they had to just kind of figure things out all on their own. And things with YouTube, 10 years moving forward, it's grown consistently where there's communities that do help you. There are tips and tricks, and it's nice that you had that support system on some level.
It is, but at the same time, I think a lot of additional work had to go into it. Like you almost have to. I'm sure you could also relate to this from your business and trying to scale it up. But you almost need to like dilute yourself. Like you need to create such an unbelievably difficult goal to achieve, and then just attack it fully, and then almost convince yourself that it's something that's within your capability and your reach. Twitter definitely did play a role in getting that idea through my head. I feel like if I didn't have Twitter, I probably would have never done YouTube. And if I were to ever do YouTube, which I did try numerous times throughout my life, I would have set the bar very low. I would have probably made a goal to hit 10,000 subscribers at the end of the year rather than whatever I made my goal to. So I am definitely grateful for Twitter and the people who like been around me on Twitter. But I definitely get what you mean. How it's had like it's given me a lot of leverage.
That's awesome, man. And what would you say is like a great distribution strategy for, let's say, a startup founder to follow to, help them get attraction or attention to their startup? Because, you can have a phenomenal feature, but if you don't have eyeballs on that feature that you just released, then did it really have an impact, right?
I think it's just consistency and strategy. Like some people will, it doesn't even have to just apply. This could be applied generally. It doesn't just need to be applied for companies, but also individuals as well, where they'll post consistently for a little bit and then they'll see minimal results and then they'll just quit. But these companies, if they were to post consistently for 60 days, high quality videos consistently, actually doing their research on how they can make it work for a long enough time, they'll get their eyes on their product. Look at the NFT space for that side of it. In the NFT space, a lot of people would make such amazingly good projects, in my eyes at least, where it had potential, but it never ended up succeeding. And then you take the projects that did end up succeeding, the reason why was because of content creation and just strategy and consistency through that area. So what should these companies do? Start it, get a feel for it, and just ride through with it. And plus, a lot of these companies have a lot of money to spend. They'll spend thousands of dollars on running ads and marketing, but they won't spend money on hiring a social media manager who's actually good at what they do. So these companies should look into that area. And plus, there's so many now. Like the people who I used to work alongside with back in the day, there were kids in high school, kids who were like 13 to 18 years old, who had so much talent and so much skill in growing pages where I was like, bro, this is insane. So that's what these companies should do. That's what they should look into or get a feel for at least.
Harness high schoolers that make meme pages.
Yeah, these kids are different, bro. Plus, if you're younger, the younger audience, the younger people in general are able to adapt to things a lot faster. Like language is a thing that kids are super good at learning. Like I learned French when I was in grade 1. And thinking back at it now, like I'm trying to learn Farsi because my girlfriend's Persian. And it's so much harder now to learn a language than it was back when you were a kid. So kids adapt to things a lot faster. So, it's good to work with these people,
No, I totally understand. At some point, my team, like our first app that we came out with, we had a co-op program across 3 different high school districts. And we scaled it up to like 50 different like co-op students. So they're all high schoolers. But we put them on the social media side to do DM outreach through Instagram, and they would go off.
Yeah, that's so fire. Yeah, I know how tedious outreach can be as well, so I'm sure that worked out very well.
Yeah, it worked out great. That's awesome, man. Okay, well, now where are you headed next, Hxsain? Like, I'm really curious. Like, you're growing your YouTube channel to 300K now. What's your next steps? We have a few more months left in the year. Where do you see yourself by the end of the year? Like what's important to Hxsain?
So number one thing that I'm going to keep on doing from now to the end of the year is just stay consistent and try to improve everywhere that I can, firstly. Secondly, where do I want to be end of the year? I made a few goals that I'm still yet to achieve. At the beginning of the year, I made a bunch, and every single quarter throughout the year, I'll make another group of goals that I must achieve by the next quarter. So the goals that I set for this quarter, for the last quarter of the year, is to, 1, be at minimum 750K, because it's all exponential. Like after a while, it all just goes crazy. I've had friends who have done 1 million in 1 month. They did 500 million views in a month with 1 million subscribers in a month. So if they could do it, I'm sure I can as well for content that's not very different. He was in reaction based content, and another guy was in pretty much the exact same as me, like literally the exact same almost. So I put a lot more effort. I don't do reaction. I do like quiz type stuff, like where I give my my worldviews and my takes on certain things, like certain random things. So yeah. So by the end of the month, how do you do
your research for your products, like for your launches of your videos? Like how do you do your video research?
So I have someone that I work alongside with, and we'll find subjects that you can expand out on very well. And I'll give him a subject, and then he'll create questions for me to answer, and then I'll answer those questions on the video. So I think it creates a different sense of presentation when it's your first time seeing whatever the question is. So sometimes they'll catch me off guard. Sometimes sometimes I'll be like, wait, I'm not answering this. And I feel like that authenticity plays a big role in it. So how do I do my research? I find something that is interesting from other creators or from just around the internet, wherever social media takes it, and I'll just speak on it. And another thing that's pretty interesting with YouTube is on YouTube Studio, it shows the subjects and the topics that your audience search up most. So sometimes I'll go through the subjects that I can make videos on, and then I'll make videos on them. And when I make videos on them, those videos end up performing much better than some random topic of whatever. So yeah, it's an interesting game, but that's
pretty much the same process for your TikTok as well?
Well, TikTok and YouTube they're both the same. So it's like double growth. So on
Mhm.
TikTok, I'll post the videos that I post to YouTube. I don't
Okay.
post as much on TikTok because I'm kind of just getting a feel for it. I have a few theories and tests that I want to run on TikTok for a new source of income, like a new stream of income. So
Mhm.
I'm just making sure that the TikTok is active. So when that comes and when the time comes where I'm able to do that, I have a few things that can maybe make me some, not rather than money, but grow me a little bit more in a different
Mhm.
direction. So I'm just trying out a bunch of things right now. So TikTok is just running by itself right now, and when I eventually have the thing that I'm planning out right now, hopefully it'll succeed the way how I plan it to. But yeah,
So just to be clear, from passive cross posting from your YouTube to TikTok, you grew it to like almost 98,000 subscribers on TikTok.
yeah, it should have been way more. It should have
Yeah.
been way more because I stopped posting for 2 months, which was silly
Okay.
of me, honestly. But
Why
yeah,
did you stop?
because it wasn't. I live in Canada, and
Yeah.
TikTok in Canada, they don't pay for videos less than a minute. They pay for videos over a minute. And all my videos, because YouTube has a cap on how long your videos can be, you can only be 60 seconds. So I'd only post videos that were just under 60 seconds.
Mhm.
And then after a few months of me not posting, I realized that I had a few friends that were making these longer videos and getting paid way more on these longer videos than how much YouTube pays me. So then I picked it back up again because I wasn't just gonna start this new thing on a dead TikTok. So I just started posting like the videos because I have so many videos that I didn't post. I post twice a day, so not posting for 2 months, you get a lot of content that you didn't post, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I just started posting my best performing videos on YouTube on TikTok, and now the TikTok is back to running again. So
Are you going to
yeah,
be cross posting to Twitter as well? Because Twitter
no
gives you a
way,
video algo boost, you know?
no way. TikTok,
No.
Twitter's attention span is probably the worst on any social media platform, in my opinion. So maybe one day we'll see.
Okay, okay,
We'll
fair enough.
see.
That's awesome, dude. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I was just really curious for TikTok. So then, yeah, you really don't do anything different, and you're not looking at any other platforms like maybe Twitch or Rumble.
So I did try out Rumble, and I did stream a few times this year for the organization that I was running, the esports organization, and I don't think I'll be going into Twitch. I'll likely be streaming on YouTube because I already have grown so many like followers on YouTube that if I were to stream, it'll be much more of a success there than on Twitch, getting the people over to a different platform rather than just staying on the platform that they found me on. So for Rumble, I tried out for a month and it just wasn't a success. Like
Yeah.
for my type of videos, it just wasn't a success. But I'm sure the longer videos can potentially work a lot better there than over here on than uh the, than the short videos. So Rumble, maybe eventually, and for Twitch, no way.
Do you see any video platforms like on the horizon that are trending up or anything?
Hmm, Kick for sure. I've seen Kick going play like Kick has grown definitely a lot within the last few months. I think it's like up to par with Twitch, which is crazy to me because Twitch has
Really?
been
Wow.
around for ages. Like they've been around for since I was a kid. And now they have this competing platform that's taking all their biggest streamers, paying them much more money, and getting a lot more people over to the platform. So I think Kick is definitely on the rise for sure. And I could definitely see Kick being somewhere in 1 to 2 years' time, maybe even surpassing Twitch. Because Twitch has just been on a
Wow, that's a big
downfall.
statement. That's a
Bro,
big statement.
Twitch has been like this ever since like COVID. So
Wow.
I don't
Why
know,
do you think
man.
that is?
It's because it's just the way how they run the platform. Like they take such a big cut from their streamers. They have very open favorites that they pick, and it's just the whole app is just very weird. And like even like the owners and the founders in person, there's really weird behaviors that like you see from them. And I think the biggest thing is the favorites aspect of it. Kick
Mhm.
really shows love to their streamers, even
Mhm.
new ones. Like I have a bunch of friends who are making like a full-time income from streaming in just a few months from the amount of love that the founders show. Versus Twitch, people will stream for their whole entire career and then get like a 0.1% recognition. And then somebody who they like much more will get much more recognition for much less work. So it's just a very shady platform that I don't really appreciate very much. But Kick, on the other hand, they're operating quite well, in my opinion.
Nice. Would you ever go back and lean in on your esports background on a platform like Kick?
That's a good question. I kind of fell out of love with esports because at first it wasn't benefiting me very much. Like YouTube and other things that I was doing was benefiting me much more than esports was, because kids are growing up, like the games that I would affiliate myself with, like Fortnite, Valorant, Call of Duty. It's just because people are actually a lot older now. So the audience is much less now than it was before. And not just that, but I'm also getting older too, like I don't even play these games anymore. And because of that, it's like I don't really see myself getting into it. But from what you're doing, I could potentially, I see some potential there. I feel like we'd be able to work very well together.
Okay, awesome. And do you recommend any tools for, like anyone looking to grow their channel, to give them an extra, like, tip on like ideas or trending topics, anything like that?
For topics
Like
and ideas,
spying on channels that they should be looking at that are in their niche, for example, like, are there any tools like that you'd recommend?
I don't know any tools personally, but I do know that they're out there. I do have a few friends that run a few tools that help with that, and especially within like the advertising side. Like they'll snap. I don't know what the word for it is, but
Scrape?
they'll take. So I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
A scrape. They'll scrape
Mhm.
the target audience for certain products, and then they'll bring them over to whoever is looking to promote themselves that direction. So I don't know any tools myself for content creation. At least I think the best thing you can do is just find who has the best way of attacking whatever you're trying to attack and approaching whatever you're trying to approach, and just copying what they do. Like if someone else is able to do it, you're able to do it. And that's the mentality that people need to have, that like it's all within your reach. You just need to work and figure out the way how you can do it. So yeah.
That's a great way to leave the pod. Lesson learned from Hxsain is break all your limiting beliefs. Surround yourself with a group that's also in the direction of where you want to be growing, be it a Discord community of founders, or a community of influencers if you want to grow that distribution channel. Just get yourself out there, right? And start producing content, start creating, and experiment. So Hxsain, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you, brother. And I'm excited to see what you have next.
You as well, bro. Like I can't wait to see what you got in store. And it's always an honor, whenever you and I speak, I'm just very happy to speak to you. So I very much appreciate you giving me your time as well, Kazi. And yeah, no problem at all.
Always love. Ciao for now.
See you, bro.